I am an artist. During my years of study at the Academy of Fine Arts in Florence, I learned to draw naked bodies and still lives. I painted pictures. I worked the clay. I made engravings on zinc tablets, learned to use the lathe. I studied the history of art, anatomy, and photography. I learned to be a good photographer. I used 3D and graphics software. I learned how to make videos and animate drawings. I got to know augmented and virtual reality, and I have looked for new tools to make my creativity evolve. At one point, I realized that the world of technology had moved forward very quickly in terms of technological solutions and was in dire need of creative figures, programmers, engineers, software specialists were no longer enough. This world needed new ideas and artists. Difficult to unite two very different worlds. One that fails to break the rules and one that relies on the rules. In 2019, I started trying to understand the XR world, and for 4 years, I just watched what was happening, waiting for my way to open. For some months, artificial intelligence has involved us in a truly overwhelming way in a series of discussions, which have attracted the interest of the majority of the public who deal with new technologies and beyond. Is AI art or is it not art? I work as a photographer for some photo agencies, and 5 months ago, in September 2023, I received an email from GatherVerse stating that the images created with artificial intelligence made with Stable Diffusion, DALL-E, Midjourney would no longer be accepted with immediate effect. The way that letter was written, it looked like the beginning of a war between creators and distributors. It was evident that the situation had already gotten out of hand. The network in no time would be filled with images made with AI software. How do this AI software work? Where do the images that AI reprocesses come from? Can we talk about art? Some clarity was made by David Holtz, founder of Midjourney, one of the leading AI image generation software, in an interview edited by Rob Salkowitz on Forbes. David Holtz stated that it's important to emphasize that this is not about art. This is about imagination. Imagination is sometimes used for art, but it's often not. Most of the images created on Midjourney aren't being used professionally. They aren't even being shared. They are just being used for this other purpose, this very human needs. As an artist, I had been feeling really frustrated as I had struggled a lot to find a job that gave vent to my creativity. I have always felt different and particular because I was able to break the rules and create things that no one had ever thought of. But what was going on? Now the engineers, the financiers, the programmers also wanted to put the label of artist in their curriculum? Why steal this title from someone who has done in-depth research in this sector for a lifetime? Why was artificial intelligence giving this possibility to everyone? Although David Oles has stated that these images are not art. By now, the word art alongside the word generative was already on everyone's lips. Websites with images created by artificial intelligence have begun to appear. Sites even sprung up that sell the best prompts. AI technology has declared it has no need for creatives. That world of technology that I had approached to integrate my creativity had studied software to create creativity without creatives. And suddenly I thought it was really a moral slap to artists. My knowledge, my constant search for the correct image, the shape, the perfect light, giving me the opportunity to have a very high critical point. I see many errors in images that are shared on the net, which the authors themselves don't see. And when I produce AI images, I reject all the images that don't respect the rules of light, composition, framing. I censor. I eliminate the ugliness of AI. History repeats itself. Can art history help us? Initially, I thought of the various artistic currents that have existed in the past centuries, and I looked for links and reference to pop art, to Andy Warhol, to Marcel Duchamp, and to all those artists rejected the critics because they had taken objects from everyday life and elevated them artfully. But that was the era of the beginning of consumerism. Those stances were significant. They made sense. No one had ever gone against the company. No one had ever exhibited a urinal, closed a little Parisian air in a jar, or made a tomato can into art. Art has evolved thanks to artists who have reworked ancient and past art in a different way. One of the greatest examples we have was Pablo Picasso, who created his art by copying ancient African art. And without those attempts to escape from the rules, and thanks to sharing, we won't know many works of contemporary art. But in the case of AI, who are we copying from? We are copying from everything created in the world. And we can go back to the sources because we can't go in the opposite direction. From the input, you get to the output, but you can't back to the input. So let's stop questioning art. Let's stop talking about art and artists. Let's talk about imagination and creativity. Right now, with AI software, we are only producing consumer images that need new rules and recognitions.